Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the HERE Commission to order at 6:35 p.m. and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Commissioner Fitzsimmons.
Thank you. If everyone could place their right hand over their heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Fitzsimmons. Adrian, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Borja?
Here.
Commissioner Brenhag?
Here.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
Here.
Commissioner Godo?
Here.
Commissioner Khan? Vice Chair Herrera?
Here.
Chair Jennings Nunez?
Here. Thank you. And I think that Commissioner Khan will hopefully be joining us in a few minutes, and so we can just make note and welcome him when he arrives. So we'll start with agenda item number 1, which is approval of the agenda order. Are there any objections to the agenda order? Okay. Hearing none, the agenda order is approved. So we can go on to, Matthew.
Thank you. Tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and our online platforms. Please email all public comments to Matthew Morales-Stevens at herecommission@sgch.org no later than the time the item is considered by the commission tonight. Comments will be read for up to 3 minutes each. Comments received after the end of the public comment section will be forwarded to the commission after the meeting. If you wish to be added to the distribution list to receive commission agendas, please email your request to herecommission@sgch.org. And then just for the record, it does look like our Commissioner Khan has joined the meeting at 6:37.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Commissioner Khan. So we're now on agenda item number 2, which is public comment. This is the time set aside for members of the public to address the HERE Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the HERE Commission. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the HERE Commission cannot answer any questions or take any action until such time as the matter may appear as an item on a future agenda. Matthew, do we have any public comments for tonight's meeting?
We do not.
Thank you. So moving on to action item, to our action items. This is agenda item number 3, and we're going to start with approval of the minutes from our February 22nd regular meeting. Matthew, do we have any public comments on this action item?
We do not.
Thank you. So the time for public comment on this item is now closed. After reviewing the minutes from February 22nd, if there is a motion to, can someone make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion
Make
to
a motion.
I propose.
Fantastic motion, so I'll go with alphabetical and Commissioner Bringhog as our motion to approve. And do I hear a second?
Yes, I second it.
Second.
And Commissioner Khan, I heard you first as our second. Adrian, would you please take the vote?
Commissioner Borja?
Aye.
Commissioner Brenhag?
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
Aye.
Commissioner Godo?
Aye.
Commissioner Khan?
Aye.
Vice Chair Herrera?
Aye.
Chair Jennings Nunez?
Aye.
Motion passed by a vote of 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Adrian. So now on to our first discussion item, which is commission reorganization. As part of the annual commission reorganization process, the commission will select the new chair and vice chair for the HERE Commission. Staff will present the options available to the commissioners before a vote is taken. Matthew, do we have any public comments on this discussion item?
We do not.
Thank you. So the time for public comment on this item is now closed, and Matthew is going to provide us with a description of how this process will work.
Thank you, Chair Jennings. So, Commissioners, you have two tasks ahead of you. It's the appointment of the Vice Chair and Chair for the HERE Commission. As you know, we've already gone through this process once, so hopefully this one will be smooth sailing for all involved. The only difference is that it was a brand new commission. Now we're all vet people at this, and we're gonna make it happen. With the process, we'll start with the selection of chair and then move into vice chair. Adrian will be leading the process for the selection of chair, and then the person who is appointed chair will lead the appointment of vice chair. Do keep in mind that you have the option to keep your chair and vice chair that you currently have, or you have the option to nominate someone new. In order to keep the current chair or vice chair, you would have to nominate them as well. So just to be familiar with how that process is laid out, and you have all of the options in front of you. If we do receive multiple nominations, we'll start with the first person that was nominated and then move forward from there. So with that, we'll turn it over to, well, we do not have any public comment. And then we'll turn it back over to Chair Jennings to close the public comment period. Did we already do that? Okay, thank you. And then, so we'll turn it over to Adrian.
The floor is now open for nomination for the selection of chair. Are there any nominations for chair?
Yes. It's the present chair. And I'd like to nominate her.
Okay. Chair Jennings has been nominated for chair.
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, hearing none, I close the floor to nominations and declare that Chair Jennings Nunez is selected as chair by acclamation. Congratulations, Chair Nunez. We will now turn the meeting over to you for the conduct of the remainder of the meeting and the selection of vice chair.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate that. So now for the selection of vice chair, the floor is now open for nominations for the selection of vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair, keeping in mind that you can self-nominate also?
Wow. Well,
Commissioner Khan, did you?
well, I was thinking, how about the present vice chair that we have? Is he interested?
So there is one nomination. I would also like to make a nomination for vice chair, and I would nominate Commissioner Godo.
Commissioner Godo.
So for the record, we have one nomination for Vice Chair Herrera and another nomination for Commissioner Godo. Are there any other nominations?
No.
Okay. So we will turn it over to Adrian to start with a vote for our current Vice Chair Herrera to continue his service as Vice Chair of the Commission.
Commissioner Borja?
Commissioner Godo.
Just for the sake of order, we would have to vote yes for Commissioner Herrera or no for Commissioner Herrera. And then the next one would be for Commissioner Goto. I'm sorry, that's a little uncomfortable, I'm sure, but that's the way we have to run the meeting. And no hard feelings to anybody who's on the call.
Sorry to jump in. Do we need to make sure that Commissioner Godo and Commissioner Herrera are both interested in that position as well?
Yes, I would want us to know.
Yeah. If we wanted to go by formality, which wouldn't be a bad idea at all, if you both would formally accept the nomination.
I accept.
I accept as well.
Thank you. So Adrian, if you could start the roll again.
Commissioner Borja,
No for Herrera.
Commissioner Brenha,
No.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons,
No.
Commissioner Godo,
No.
Commissioner Khan,
Yes for Vice Chair Herrera.
Chair Jennings Nunez,
No.
Okay. Since we have not received a majority, we will take a vote for Godo, for Commissioner Godo.
Commissioner Borja,
Yes.
Commissioner Brenha,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Godo,
Yes.
Commissioner Khan,
No, because I guess I'm the only one left out.
Vice Chair Herrera,
No.
Chair Jennings Nunez.
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 4 ayes, 2 nays, and 0 abstentions. Correction, that was 5 ayes, 2 nays, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Adrian. So before I welcome our new vice chair, I do want to say thank you to Commissioner George Herrera for serving as our first vice chair for this very new commission and for helping us to define this role and being really passionate about it and bringing all of your good ideas, which you will continue to do as commissioner. And so I know I and we all really thank you for taking on that role over this last year. Thank you. And congratulations to our new vice chair, Commissioner Godo. So we really welcome her and have heard lots of incredibly good ideas and lots of passion from her as well. So I know that this second year is going to be equally as productive and wonderful as our last year. So thank you everybody for making that process as painless as it can be. Thank you. So we're now going to go on to agenda item B, our discussion item B, which is going to be review and discussion of approved 2022 annual work plan. So our commission members are going to review and begin working on the 2022 annual work plan, which was approved, yay, by the City Council during the March 15, 2022 City Council meeting. The work plan items of primary focus tonight will be item 1, which is equity training, item 2A, development and implement of programs and events, item 2C, which is guest speakers, and item 2E, which is to develop a job fair. So that doesn't mean that we won't be discussing the other items on our work plan. Those are just the ones that Matthew pulled for us to discuss, to begin discussing tonight. 1, because the job fair, the suggestion was that we have it in May, and so that is rapidly approaching. And the others, if you have any questions, you can ask Matthew why he pulled those. So Matthew is going to provide some staff updates, but first, are there any public comments on this discussion item?
There are none.
Thank you. So the time for public comments on this item is now closed. And then Matthew, if you would like to give us some updates or guidance.
Excellent. So thank you, Chair Jennings. I'm just as thrilled as I'm sure that as the commission is to say that it was approved by council and the commission can begin working on the 2022 work plan. as we've stated before, some of the items have carried over. So some of the items where staff can provide an update, I will be doing so right now. But as we work through the work plan, of course, feel free to call on us and we'll try to provide as much information as we can on the other agenda items. So for 1A, the equity training, so we are planning an an implicit bias / cultural diversity training here for all city employees. It's scheduled for April 12th and 13th over at the Mission Playhouse. It will be a mandatory training for all staff with 2 time slots on each day. More details will be provided to staff and commission and council within the upcoming weeks. We were thrilled to have a consultant that's worked with us on various projects in community services and throughout the city, such as the Prop 68 grant and other projects like that are large scale. She's also a professor a former retired professor from Cal State Long Beach. She does own her own consulting firm that specializes in grant writings and these types of training. So she comes highly recommended and with a large briefcase of knowledge behind her. And we anticipate her presenting it in a way that will be engaging and exciting to the employees, not just flipping through a PowerPoint screen. If it gives you any indication, she taught recreation over at Cal State Long Beach. So there's no one more exciting than a recreation professional for this type of platform. Something that can become a little nervous for people, a little scary for people, and uncomfortable. We're hoping she'll help ease people into the conversation and allow everyone to learn as much as possible. The other item for, let's see, 2C, if anyone has any guest speakers, this meeting is the perfect time to throw those out there. You can always toss me the contact information after the meeting, but this would be a great time for the commission to discuss who might be the best fit. If there's a specific order that the commission would like to see those guest speakers happen, that's a perfect time for that. And then as far as the job fair is concerned, just then the commission is aware to help kind of guide and inform the decision making. Gabriel High School hosted a job fair, a career and job fair not that long ago, I think earlier this month. Community Services and Mission Playhouse had a booth there and shared our lifeguard, our maintenance crew over at the Playhouse. So those positions, lifeguard or recreation leader. So we were thrilled to present those to the students there. And then we will also be attending a career and job fair over at Pasadena City College in mid-April. So that, of course, will be a different population of people. It's not located here in the city of San Gabriel, but it's getting the part-time jobs that we have available in our department out to those. And of course, those students and anyone in attendance would have the resources of anyone else that's in attendance. And just to give you an indication as to how popular it was, I registered on the day that we received the email. I went back, I think, a week and a half later, if that, and registration was already filled for participants such as our agency to share the information and jobs that they have available. So we're anticipating that one being productive for the San Gabriel Valley. With that, that's all I have, and I'll turn it back over to the chair.
Thank you, Matthew. So I will open it up to the commissioners to, we'll just start with 1A, that are at 1, equity training, and see if anyone has any questions or comments concerning that item. And I will just go down the line. So Commissioner Borja?
No questions.
Commissioner Brenha?
No questions.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
No questions at this time.
Thank you. Commissioner Herrera?
No questions at this moment.
Commissioner Khan?
No questions from me, Chair.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Godo?
I was just curious, is the training 2 days or is it just being offered for 2 days and staff can pick one or the other?
Yeah, thank you for clarifying. So it will be two separate days with 4 different time slots. So the exact time slots of how they will be arranged is still to be determined, but it will only be a 2-hour training with a 15-minute break.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't have any questions. I just applaud the city for arranging that, and I'm really excited to hear more about the details and for you to provide a report under staff reports at our meeting in May. Good.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, Commissioner Jennings, but we'd be happy for any of the HERE commissioners to sit in on one or more of those trainings if you all were interested in seeing how that goes. We can send you the dates and times so that you can pick a time that's convenient for you.
Certainly.
Thank you. We appreciate that invitation, and hopefully several of us can join you for one or both sessions. So, thank you. So we'll move on to item 2A, develop and implement programs and events. So the develop a job fair, we'll do that as a separate discussion. We had also talked about the mental health forum or fair, and we'll have to kind of decide what the format would be. I was thinking, and maybe when you make your comments, you can say whether you think this timing would be good, but Mental Health Week, or what Mental Health Awareness Week, is October 2nd through the 8th. So I was thinking maybe Sunday, October 2nd or Saturday, October 8th might be a good time to shoot for. That's just a suggestion. So that would be one of the programs that we have discussed having. Commissioner Borja, would you like to provide any input on this one?
Yes, so I know we've discussed before about maybe having a panel of people, some representatives from the community agencies, as well as students and possibly even parents. And if this would be in person, I don't know if we would be able to have breakout sessions as well for smaller group discussions. And that's all.
And this is specifically concerning the mental health forum fair. Okay. Do you have any other suggestions for any other programs that you would like to see happen this year?
Not at this time, but I will get back to you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brinha?
I'm really excited to see this mental health forum or fair happen as well. I don't necessarily have any strong feelings about exactly when it happens. I mean, October sounds far away, but I don't know that it, like, time's so weird, like it goes by so quickly. So I'm sure that there, you know, with a lot of things to arrange and coordinate, it's gonna feel quick anyway. So yeah, I think it would be cool to start trying to reach out to some people to partner with us on it. And I don't have any other thoughts on other events or even the, are we talking about the job fair now too, or that's a later?
No, we'll do that as a separate one.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. And Commissioner Brinhag, you have been instrumental in identifying people in terms of mental health. So we will be looking to you to help us find people to reach out to. And the reason I keep saying forum fair is we've had 2 suggestions. One is kind of as a mental health fair where we provide access to different local agencies and resource groups and kind of like the health fair that's coming up that we'll mention later. And then one is as a panel discussion or a forum where we invite guests to come and speak about different mental health issues. The MET team here in San Gabriel, Commissioner Fitzsimmons has mentioned that, and having those people be available for a Q&A or presentation, and then maybe incorporating those breakout rooms for people who want more information and some kind of rotation available to the public if they want to do that as well. So I'm hoping we can incorporate both of those ideas in kind of a half-day event. Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
Yes, just to add a little bit more to that, I was hoping that if we indeed have breakout sessions, it would be in an area where we could have some privacy, so that they could go into rooms, so that they don't feel as though that they're sitting out in the public and talking about, specific problems that they have. Because certainly when I work at the police department, I do see a lot of people coming in that do have, questions, and they just don't want to have everybody around them listening or sharing. So I'm hoping that we can set it up so that there would be some privacy. And certainly the Met team would be available, and if we could even possibly get a hold of a psychologist, either through the school or somebody of that nature, to come and also be available to talk. Because I know that there was one of the council members brought up that there needs to be a lot more education to young people on eating disorders, bulimia, so that if we can find information on that, to certainly provide the parents and give them an avenue that they could go to. And if they are experiencing a problem with their young person, whether it be drugs or eating disorders, or even just self-mutilation, or just anything of that nature, that we can provide that to them, that we could be an avenue. Because I know some of the schools don't have a lot of that information. So that if we could be an avenue for them, I think that would be very, very helpful for us as a HERE Commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Fitzsimmons. And I think our Commissioner Borja can certainly help us with some of those avenues, because that is right in her purview. So what I heard you saying, Commissioner Fitzsimmons, is for the breakout sessions, my understanding from Commissioner Borja is that these are not going to be individual kind of counseling sessions, but would be breakout sessions with just smaller groups. But we definitely do want to make it a safe space where people feel comfortable with bringing up whatever questions they have. But I don't think we'll be able to provide kind of individual counseling sessions, but we'll certainly hopefully be able to give that information. Having a psychologist there is going to be, that's a really great idea. And then hopefully being able to cover topics that are specific to young adults and teens, like substance abuse, eating disorders, self-harm, suicide prevention. All of those will make for incredible kind of information and breakout sessions. So thank you, Commissioner Fitzsimmons. Anything else?
No.
Commissioner Herrera?
Yeah, so with these sessions, I would like to say that, in a sense, we're trying to build up the self-esteem and build up the youth and the new leadership that's coming up. And a way to do that is by having not only them having avenues as far as mental health, but then also for us to provide them with avenues in regards to other activities that they can do. So maybe inviting people from, like, I know we have the Smith Park, we have recreational activities there, inviting or creating or having some kind of flyers to let them know, hey, we have other activities that you can engage in. And also maybe getting with the local scouts, like the Boy Scouts of America, having them present, so that we can help guide these youth into the right directions, because sometimes they fall into the crack where they're being misled and under the wrong guidance, so sometimes all they need is guidance, a little bit of guidance. And then as after the fact, maybe we can have some kind of a resume building of some sort, so they can get to know their neighbors and engage with races and have access to everybody here in the city and access to all the neighbors.
Thank you. So, so that sounds good. So another aspect then of our afternoon would be having some activities that build on self-esteem, maybe some, physical activity. You said providing them with some other outlets in terms of extracurricular activities, and then just relationship building and meeting other people. I don't know if you say networking for teams, but whatever you call it for teams, but that sounds really good. So that would be an excellent thing to build into the morning as well. Thank you, Commissioner Herrera. Anything else? Thank you. Commissioner Khan?
I will be happy to be a part of the committee. I think I have a few resources that might be of help, might be of use. So, once we go over a little bit in detail, I'll definitely want to be a part of the committee. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Khan. So I think you bring up a very good point that it would probably be good to identify a committee of, I think we can do 2 up to 3 commissioners without being in violation of the Brown Act. So Commissioner Khan has already volunteered himself to sit on that committee. And then Matthew will work with us in the next meeting or so, maybe consider whether you would like to join Commissioner Khan in that committee. And you would be in charge of kind of planning out that day, obviously with the help and input of all of the commissioners, but to have a specific committee for this event would be really good. Thank you, Commissioner Khan.
Thank you.
And then Vice Chair Goto.
Yes, I don't know if this is already on our plan, but I know we had wanted to do something a little more robust for Native American Heritage Month, and so I would hopefully like to do that in person this year. But given that this event is potentially in October and Native American Awareness Month is November, maybe we can consider if there's another sort of benchmark date to spread them out a little bit in the year. Maybe there's another time besides November that we might be able to host an event honoring the Native American community. And then one thing I wanted to maybe put out there to see if there's interest is May is Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And there was an event last year in conjunction with Asian Youth Center to promote bystander training that was being conducted by a number of different organizations. And it might be an opportunity, if we're back in person, fingers crossed, to have or to host, a bystander training within our community. I know that the Asian Americans Advancing Justice team was willing to provide those trainings for free if an organization or a group wanted to gather, participants. So maybe that's something that we can consider for this year.
Thank you. Excellent. So November, I would say we should still try to work for it maybe towards the end, like the day before, maybe towards the end of November, and we might be able to carry forth some of the things that we started for Native American Heritage Month this year, but weren't able to complete, that we can just carry those forward and we have a head start on things. So I think we might be able to hopefully talk about doing something for November. And then May, certainly in terms of Asian Pacific Heritage Month, thank you for bringing that up. And there's also the Stop Hate group. I think they're called Stop Hate. That might be a good partner, and they partner with the city and other groups within the city. So they are easily accessible. So thank you for bringing that up. I think those are 2 very doable recommendations. The other thing that I forgot we'll come back to, but just keep in mind that 2C is guest speakers. So if you have any guest speakers in mind, we'll have you just call those out in a minute. I don't have anything else to add to item 2A. I'm really excited about our mental health fair in October. I'm really excited about our Asian Pacific Heritage Month and hopefully Native American Heritage Month. And then the other items, I think if we actually accomplish all of these this year, again, we'll have a really productive year. So unless anyone has anything else that they want to add, or Matthew, if you have any clarifying questions.
So if I may briefly, so for November, that butts up right against our Fall Fun Festival, which is the end of October. So that's a challenging event for staff, just as far as the amount of work that goes into it. So then trying to assist the commission with 2 additional events in November might be a bit challenging. So potentially looking at September might be for either one of them, may at least spread it out a bit. Granted, I think staff enjoy the break between end of summer, August until October, but I know everyone will be very happy to take on an additional project, but spacing it out would be helpful. You also do run into Thanksgiving towards the end of November, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But I will turn that back over to the commission.
Yes, Commissioner Herrera.
Yeah, I was basically going to say almost the same, not as eloquent as Matthew, of course, never as eloquent as Matthew, but not moving for November, because November tends to be, if we go out for November tends to be cold and sometimes, most of the times rains. And so with that said, I think mid-September or late September, I think would be awesome if we could.
Thank you. I appreciate, and yes, Matthew always puts things very diplomatically for us to understand. So I appreciate you looking out for your staff and the other city employees. So yes, we're certainly very open to suggestions in terms of timing and appreciate that help. So this is just an idea. And again, just like this year, it can be hopefully something a little bit bigger, but certainly just recognition period is something that we're going to strive for. Thank you. Anything else, Matthew, or did you get the other information?
Yes, I got everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Herrera.
And I know this year is going to go by quick. I mean, we're already in what, March, almost April. So if we could get some kind of video, that would be awesome, just to let the community know that what the HERE Commission has achieved and what we're working on sometime by the end of the year somewhere. That would be great. We can get that in there.
Maybe we'll try to add that into the Christmas video or something, but yes, that is excellent. We really want to get the word out about what we're doing, and we're hoping this year is going to be a big year for doing that now that we're back in person with a lot of events. So moving on to 2C, guest speakers. Does anyone have any guest speakers that they would like to suggest? I'm just going to open that one up.
Any specific topic we're talking about?
No, you would suggest the topic. It would be similar to what we did over the past year. They'd have about 20 minutes or so for a presentation and a few minutes for question and answer. Did you have something, Commissioner Khan?
Let me think over and I will communicate that with Matthew and see if it's agreeable. I'll do that in a week or so,
Mm-hmm. We probably have, thinking possibly April, May, June, July, August, probably not, maybe, maybe if we could come up with 5, that probably would be reasonable. Commissioner Herrera and then Commissioner Brinhoff.
So there's something that I kind of want to talk about or have somebody come and talk about to shine light on, and that's on disabilities. I know that I spoke to somebody, I met somebody when I went to meet Matthew a couple weeks ago. Matthew, you might remember her. Her name is Cheryl Sheilhart, and I think she works with special need kids. If we can have her, I think she has like a community, like something here in the city of San Gabriel. If we can have her come and talk to us, I know I already told her that I will invite her, but if we can have her and come and just let us know what programs she has here in the community and what services she has to offer, and that would be great.
Good. So we did have someone earlier in last year who came and spoke to us in terms of disability advocacy, but certainly, you know, if we have someone who can provide information on local resources, that would be good. Or maybe we could also reach out to, and I just have to find out who our local kind of city or state disability advocates are also, just to augment that information. But so yes, thank you. Commissioner Brinhall?
I don't think I raised my hand, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's okay. I'll be on the lookout. I don't have anybody as of right now, but if I have anybody, I will send it on to Matthew, and also we can bring it up at the next meeting.
Yeah, and we have time to think about this. Obviously, we don't have to plan the whole year tonight, but does anyone else have any other suggestions? I'm going to do Commissioner Fitzsimmons, and then I'll come back to you, Commissioner Herrera. Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
Yes, I think when the Met team did their presentation, there were questions that weren't answered by some of the commissioners, and I think it would be nice if we could invite them to come back again so that we can maybe continue along with the lines that they were talking, so that there could be some additional questions that some of the commissioners had that they didn't have an opportunity to ask them. And they could, you know, maybe go a little bit deeper into what they're doing. So I think if we could bring them back, that would be very advantageous.
My only question about that, Commissioner Fitzsimmons, is that they probably will have a prominent role during our October event. So I don't know if that would be a good place for them to come and be able to go more in depth, especially if we provide them with a breakout session opportunity. But certainly, Matthew, you can put that down as a suggestion, and we can talk about it in coming meetings to see whether we want them to have a meeting here and be part of that October event, or if we want to just provide them with that platform at the October event. Thank you. Any other? Commissioner Herrera, and then Commissioner Godo.
Let Vice Chair Godo go first.
Oh, Vice Chair
Hey,
Godo.
Chair. Thank you. Sorry to jump the line. There is an organization that's called Storycorps. I don't know if you all have heard of them before. They've been operating for a number of years, and they have essentially gone around the country and had recordings of a pair of people sort of interviewing each other, and all of the interviews go into the National Archive. So it's really an opportunity for sort of citizen storytelling. You know, they've had, you know, family members interview each other. Basically, two people can sign up, and, you know, it can be any relationship. And during the pandemic, they created sort of a new initiative called One Small Step, where people can sign up, people who are of opposing views in a number of ways. It's not just political, but opposing views, period, can sign up to be part of a dialogue with someone who they don't know, who is on the opposite side of a particular issue, or you know, they may not see eye to eye. And the point of the discussion is really to build bridges and connectedness, to try to bring communities back together, since things have been so divisive in the last few years. And it was just interesting because the conversations are not about whatever the issue is that they disagree on. If you agree to be a part of it, you fill out a profile, and they may match people by something they have in common. It may be they both love cats, or they both, they have some kind of interest that that the connection can be made. And so I don't know if they'd be available to come and talk about what they're doing, but I think it would be an interesting opportunity. There are a number of organizations across the country that that they're calling bridge building, that are doing sort of dialogues or trying to bring people together again in a civil way to have civic discussions about, a number of different things. So it was something that I thought might be of interest, particularly given, our charge to bring communities together. And so, people can go on the website now and sign up, but I think it would be really interesting if they could provide information about, what they're doing, and maybe even share some of the stories to help people get motivated to maybe want to participate.
Thank you, Vice Chair Goto. So we'll have you work with Matthew, maybe our local KPCC or local public radio can help you get an in on who would be the best person to contact, and if there's someone locally, and if not the actual Storycorps, if there are other bridge building organizations, like you said, that could come and speak to us about bridge building in our community, then that would be a really good session. Thank you. Vice Chair Herrera, I'm sorry, I'm going backwards. Commissioner Herrera.
Oh, great point, Vice Chair Goto. That's not exactly, but kind of in the segue where I was trying to go at with this, because of the purpose of the HERE Commission. One of the purposes is mutual appreciation, right? Another purpose is positive intergroup relations. And I was trying to see how we can focus on that by our speakers, by means of our speakers, right? What do we have here in the city of San Gabriel? We have a lot of Asians, right? We have a lot of Asians, we have a lot of Asian restaurants, and some people might say, hey, well, why do we have to continue building more Asian restaurants? But maybe those people haven't even given it a try, right? Because they don't understand it, because they don't understand the culture, because they don't understand that there's more than just one Asian style of food. Believe me, I know. There's hot pot, there's all sorts of Chinese Asian food. So how do we use our platform for good and positive intergroup relations? My take is that we have to help people understand these other cultures. So maybe we should have somebody from, not necessarily from the Stop Asian Hate rally, but maybe somebody that can come to talk to us, maybe share a little bit of history. Maybe we can invite some of the leadership, right? Congresswoman Judy Chu will be the first one that comes to mind. Maybe we can invite her if she can allow some time to come and share her story and a little bit about her culture. That would be great.
Thank you, Vice Chair Herrera. So certainly, understanding of different cultures is what we want to promote, and to keep in mind, San Gabriel is at this point, certainly, I think like 65% Asian in terms of different Asian ethnicities. That's about 25% Latino. So we want to keep that in mind as well. And then there are lots of other groups also. So trying to build bridges between all those groups and understandings is going to be important. So yeah, finding people who can come in and provide their perspective and their stories is going to be important. So thank you. Congresswoman Judy Chu is in San Gabriel a lot. And so if we have something that we want to ask her to specifically help us with, that would be great. I know she certainly supports this commission, so that's great. Commissioner Borja, did you have anyone? Did I call you on?
Yes, I had actually a couple of questions. When we were talking about the MET team for the San Gabriel PD, do we know if they actually have a resource page for mental health resources? That's one of the questions. And then the other thing that I was just thinking about, based on what Commissioner Herrera and Vice Chair Goto was saying, you know, what might be kind of interesting is if we did something where the youth could do maybe not like a TikTok video, but something that's short that says something about, I'm proud of my culture, or this is what's unique about my culture, you know, and using a hashtag or something, and then we kind of build it and put it on our website. But, you know, coming from the youth, this is what I'm proud about, or this is what makes my culture unique, or this is what I enjoy about it. Those are just some of my thoughts.
Yeah. So there are lots of heads being shaken up and down in agreement, and lots of thumbs up. So I think when we identify our 2 youth ambassadors, especially a TikTok challenge that they want to spearhead with this hashtag would be great. And that's about as much social media lingo as I know. But I think that would be a really great idea. And then using Clara, our new public information officer, that this would be something that is right up her alley to help guide. Thank you, Commissioner Borja. That's really good. I just have 2 ideas that I'm hoping we will consider. One, and this is going back to Commissioner Herrera mentioned in terms of the purpose of our HERE Commission, and certainly way back at the beginning when we were developing our first work plan, we did speak a little bit about just resident rights in terms of interactions with our justice, departments, police departments, especially if you are an immigrant or not here legally. Just to talk a little bit more about that. So having someone to come in and talk about immigrant rights, citizen rights, whatever, I'll have to flesh it out a little bit, but I would be interested in that. And then the second thing is, this is a big year in terms of elections. November, we're going to be electing a lot of people. And I thought it would be nice if we invited someone. I know that I've heard a few people who might be interested in running for certain local offices, but don't have a whole lot of information about where to start, how to do it, anything. In San Gabriel, we're going to be electing 3 city council members, I think, the city treasurer, the city clerk, the elected city clerk, and then there are several school board positions that are also going to be coming up for election in November. I know that there are lots of people in his city who would do an incredible job in one of those positions, but they really don't know where to start. And this is not LA city politics. This is San Gabriel, smaller scale politics. So I think it is very doable. But if we could have someone from like the League of Women Voters, or I can reach out, maybe the registrar, or Mark or Matthew, if someone have a suggestion about someone to come in and just give a brief overview on, I'm interested in running for a local city position. What do I do? I think that would be nice to have in maybe June or May. I'll have to check and see when those filing deadlines are so that we can give people information about that. So those are my 2 suggestions.
If we did that, we may want to keep a balance if there are more than one person running for the same seat. So just to talk.
Balance in what sense, Commissioner Khan?
In terms of having to come in present.
So I wasn't suggesting that we have candidates come and campaign on our commission presentation. This is more of a nonpartisan organization coming to provide information to our residents who might be interested in running for local office, kind of on filing deadlines and, how much does it cost? How do I do it? Just the logistics of it, but not endorsing, anyone. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you. Any other suggestions in terms of speakers for tonight? Again, keeping in mind that this is an open discussion for future meetings. Good. Excellent. That's a good place to start, Matthew. We gave you more things to do. So we're going to move on to item 2E, develop a job fair. And I think I would start by maybe posing the question, I think I know what my answer would be, but to ask whether we think a job fair is necessary given what Matthew shared with us about what happened at Gabrielino, what's happening at PCC, whether we think that providing another job fair or providing a job fair specifically in San Gabriel would be of benefit. And I'll just put it out there for comments. Yes, Commissioner Herrera.
I think right now more than ever, it's very crucial to have this kind of style of job fairs, because the market in general, we're in desperate need. Different organizations are in desperate need of people applying for these jobs and quality qualified candidates. So I think it's a great idea to have this jobs fair right now, and to make sure that our residents are ready for these job applications, or like for, sorry, let me digress. They are ready for opportunities to come, and we can help them somehow with resume building and making sure that they're landing respectable jobs or jobs that they want to be working in the future.
Thank you. Any other comments? Vice Chair Godo.
I wonder if Matthew might be able to share with us sort of what the attendance has been at the job fairs, and maybe the one in PCC that's coming up might be a better gauge than necessarily the one at the high school. But to Commissioner Herrera's point, it seems like there's definitely a lot of employers who are in need of workers, but I'm wondering if people, given that they're having a difficult time finding people, I'm wondering if job seekers are going to come to the job fair. So that would be my only consideration with putting together something, separate like that. I think Matthew mentioned that, the number of employers looking for workers was quite intense, and all of the places were taken up pretty quickly by those employers. So what are your thoughts about that, Matthew?
Sure. So I don't have exact numbers. We can reach out to PCC and Gabrielino High School to their staff that put that on to see what their historical figures have been, and in Gabrielino's case, what their actual attendance was. My understanding is it's just for the students that are on campus. So if I'll use the example of our staff provided little treats to entice people to stop by the booth and kind of be a conversation starter. And we had quite a few people that were interested in some of the jobs that we had to offer. It's also very specific to the age group. So, a junior and senior in high school is the perfect person to work at our day camp or our after school program and kind of get their feet wet and then kind of expand within the department. Whereas PCC, I'm not sure that we've attended it but then our department has having had a booth at the event before. I can't speak to before my time, or maybe it has happened while I was here and I just wasn't aware, but that would of course be drawing in a completely different group of people. So people that are potentially looking for more career oriented versus a part-time stepping stone position, or something that is in the field in which they're studying potentially. So even though, the positions that we're presenting are part-time positions, they are potentially, still stepping stones towards what their end goal in their career is. So to answer your question, it's definitely something we can come back to at the next meeting or send out even sooner once we have the information to who's ever taking the lead on the job fair or to the commission as a whole. But I would say we've had positive results from the one that we've attended, and to add another job fair would definitely be an option, but would require some additional work, and whether or not those companies or businesses would want to come out again to the city of San Gabriel would also be another question.
Matthew, do you think at the PCC job fair that there would be, like you said, it's a little bit different demographic than we were initially targeting in terms of summer jobs for teens. But do you think at the PCC job fair that there would be positions available for that group, for part-time summer jobs for teens, for local, fast food restaurants, the movie theaters, those kinds of things?
Yeah, I would definitely anticipate that being part of what will be available at PCC. I'll use an example. Even when I was in college at a private university, it was a 4-year university. So you would think that those are the options where there's full-time employers that are coming to kind of snag people and recruit people as they're graduating. But we really had other options that were, part-time summer opportunities. They're looking for the college student who, is taking 12 units and also has time to work, 20 to 25 hours. So they have a skill set, but they also are working on their education, and you can lock someone in for 3 or 4 years while they're in school and they can't get a full-time job. So I would say for the PCC it'll skew a bit different, but still will overlap a bit with regards to their target audience, if that's making sense.
Yes, it makes sense. I just want to make sure that, like I said, our initial focus was in providing kind of summer job opportunities for youth in our area. And so I don't want to miss that. It's hopefully the students at Gabrielino were able to take advantage of that. I don't know if other local, schools are doing that, or high school juniors and seniors who go to school outside of San Gabriel, if they're going to have access to that. So that's the only reason that I would skew towards continuing to plan our job fair, even if it's something smaller, or working with our local San Gabriel Chamber of Commerce to maybe identify some people, some businesses in the area that would be interested in having a booth and providing it. I don't know if we need to take a vote to see if the commission members want to continue with this plan, or what would be the best way to proceed.
Sure. So one additional note is if the commission were to move forward with it, I definitely like the idea of the commission being involved, or the Chamber of Commerce, because they may have their hand on the pulse of who's in need of additional staff, and having a variety of businesses within the city of San Gabriel to help entice people to come and check out the job fair. But as far as the structure, if for the health and wellness fair, for those of you who've taken a look at the flyer, it ranges as far as what's available. But as far as on the back end, we did a simple vendor registration form, and then vetted them before we said yes, you can actually attend and have a booth. So I would recommend that it's something kind of uniform across the board. Staff or the commission can vet who is joining, and it's not just like a free-for-all type of format of, maybe the commission wants to limit it to just businesses within the same city of San Gabriel versus the San Gabriel Valley. So those are kind of the key points that I would suggest that the commission looks at if indeed you were looking to move forward with it.
The other thing, if I can just make a comment as well, this is Director Perez, would be that I heard Commissioner Herrera mention kind of workforce training kinds of opportunities, and maybe the commission could work more toward creating a list of those opportunities that would be available for those sorts of things, kind of more of a workforce development opportunity. Because we don't know what that workforce will be. I'll be honest that May is a little bit late for hiring part-time summer employees. So that's why we are attending some of these opportunities right now for the training. But if that could be a possibility for a future speaker, kind of a workforce development, because that is an issue that many businesses are facing in our city and in cities all around us. Or a list of available opportunities that people can access, and kind of a resource list, if you will. I don't believe that's something that we have in the city, so that could be another opportunity.
So Matthew, would you suggest that I can't get a feel of where the commissioners are in terms of proceeding with this item. Would you suggest that, or Adrian, would you suggest that we take a vote?
Yeah, I would, if that makes, I think that would give everyone some clear direction as to where we're headed. I think the previous items were pretty clear that everyone was in agreement, but with this one, Adrian, if you wouldn't mind calling the vote.
So do we need to make a motion or we need to have someone make a motion?
Yeah, so if someone can make a motion to begin developing a job fair.
I'll make a motion to begin. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Commissioner Fitzsimmons, did you have a question first?
Yes, I did. I think before we actually take a vote, I think we need to talk a little bit more about what we're going to do, because we're straying away from, what we're doing here in the city of San Gabriel. We've got to make sure, either talking with the Chamber of Commerce or somebody, because this has to be within the city of San Gabriel, the businesses and the job fairs. And we have to find out, are the businesses going to be, are they going to, go along with this? Some of them may not. Some of them may say, hey, leave me alone. I want to hire my own people. I'm not interested in hiring young people. Maybe we need to look at this a little bit further before we take a vote, because we're going to be spinning our wheels here. There's been a lot of things brought out about, PCC, which is wonderful, with adults. But remember, we're working with the city of San Gabriel. We're straying away a little bit from what the HERE Commission is supposed to be.
So Commissioner Fitzsimmons, in terms of PCC, that was just asking for kind of a reference point. So this is very much specific to San Gabriel, to offering a job fair for San Gabriel youth, and working with San Gabriel businesses, either through business development and the San Gabriel Chamber of Commerce. And obviously it would not be anything that is mandatory for a business to participate in. It's just, as Matthew said, we would put it out there. People who wanted to register for it could participate. Those who did not, wouldn't need to. If we got 10 or 15 businesses that wanted to participate, that would be great. And we would leave it at that. If we didn't get any interest, then I guess we would, we could still have the option for canceling it. So at this point, my understanding of a vote is whether to move ahead with investigating this at all. In terms of trying to get an idea of whether businesses would be interested, Rebecca's kind of already mentioned that we're a little bit late in the game, although hopefully, since nobody can find enough workers anyway, people are still going to be interested in hiring. But right now is more just to gauge interest in the commission, whether or not you feel that this is appropriate for the commission to take on, whether you feel like there is a need for us to take it on. That would all be part of this next vote in terms of voting yes or no to proceed. And that no might be, no, I don't want to proceed right now, but I want to proceed next year and we need to investigate it. But for right now, whether to proceed with the idea of doing something in May would be what we would vote on. Commissioner Herrera?
So I think it is beneficial. I think and it is with the scope of the commission, because this is part of building positive intergroup relations. You create this group, you create this event. Now you have a lot of people mingling and socializing, and you're not only going to get Asian people or what have you. You're going to get all the community to come over here and look into all these jobs that they have to offer. I don't think that we should limit it to only San Gabriel businesses. I think it should be encouraged that San Gabriel businesses do come out. This is a great way for them to get their business their business out there. And if they need help right now, a lot of people do need a lot of help. So this is a great way for the city to show them, especially the commission, to show them that, hey, we're here to support you. What do you need? You need more people, you need more bodies. We're all gonna come out, we're gonna rally for this and try to make San Gabriel business stronger right? And not only that, I would like to invite other big corporations to come out, because not only the corporations benefit, but our residents, they're going to benefit, not only the youth, but anybody that's looking for a job at this point. We're in desperate need of hiring a lot of people at different companies. I speak to my wife, I speak to neighbors, and there's a lot of companies that are quite doing really bad. And hopefully through this, we can move the city and our residents forward. I think it is very crucial that we have something like this.
So for the motion then to kind of determine which direction the commission would like to go, potentially the motion could look something like making a motion to begin developing and creating a job fair with a tentative date of our implementation date of May, with the depth and breadth to be determined as it develops. Given the understanding that should it be determined by whoever's working on it and brought back to the commission, that the program could get cut at any time. So if as you're working through it, you're realizing that there's not a single San Gabriel business that wants to attend and promote their jobs, then the commission could decide to not offer that at the time. On the opposite end, if you vote against it, then it would be determining that it's not something that the commission would like to move forward with in any capacity.
At this point, we would put it on next year's work plan. Yes. Commissioner Bork.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. So we're talking about May, like in 2 months, versus postponing it to next year's plan. Okay.
Yes. So we're talking about implementing it for this May versus, if we say, no, we don't want to proceed for this May, obviously you can always go back onto our work plan for another year. So this doesn't have to be the end of the idea. Absolutely. It's just whether we're going to pursue it for May. So if someone started to make a motion, if we could.
Before we move on, I have a couple of comments and thoughts.
Yes.
Oh, God.
I can't raise my hands because my camera doesn't turn on. I guess it's been turned off by the organizer, it says. So maybe technical glitch in my end or there, but I want to try to see, and I think I want to follow the Commissioner Fitzsimmons' comments partially, where number one, is this a job for the city council and the city to do that than for us? Number two, is this under our purview to do this? In other words, this seems like it looks like it's a little out of our mandate that we're following, but it could be a part of it, but it's just a little far away. And also, do we have the resources to contact the businesses to basically work in and out? This would involve businesses. This would involve covering expenses. This would involve some sort of training, not training, but some sort of workshops and so on. So that's my just thought.
Thank you, Commissioner Khan. So again, all of this gets back to the reason why it sounds like we need a vote on this issue, because there isn't consistent consensus on whether or not we want to proceed with it for May. And I would try to narrow our thoughts just a little bit in terms.
Was everyone seeing Chair Jennings frozen? Okay.
Yeah, she's frozen.
Let me go ahead and give her a call. Everyone will stand by.
Are you back there, Chair Jennings?
I lost you for.
Sounds like you're back.
Yes. So so. And I don't know how much of that you heard, but anyway. So it's a yes, no vote after we have a motion, with the yes being we want to continue to pursue this with the city staff with the idea of having some type of job fair for youth in May, and a no being that no, we don't want to continue to pursue it at this point. So we have that motion. Yes, Commissioner Herrera.
I just want to make it clear too, because that's in May, right? Like Commissioner Borja mentioned. And is it something that we could do? My question to Matthew, how much resources are we going to need? I think getting those businesses to come out, I think that's the easy part. You know, you build it, they're going to come. It's much needed right now, especially right now. And pushing it for next year, it sounds fine and dandy, but our community needs us right now. Our community needs us right now. And if only 5 businesses come out, I can get at least 3 businesses to come out myself. I can get 3 big businesses that are that work within the city of San Gabriel to come out. So I think that's no issue. But Matthew, my question to you is, can it get done within the scope of the time that we have right now? Can it get done? And how much resources would it actually need? And side note, if you need volunteers, I'm out there. I'm going to be out there helping you out, whatever you need. Ask for the day off, whatever it needs. We need this really bad.
Sure. So that would ultimately depend on kind of what the commission, how big or small the commission decides to make it. So for example, the Health and Wellness Fair doesn't require a large amount of city funds to run, because we've partnered with USC. They're doing a lot of the screenings. They're helping push out the marketing. They're doing half of the work for us. So it doesn't take a ton of staff time. In this aspect, it may require a bit more staff time, but given the fact that we are already working for the city, that wouldn't require any additional above and beyond. It would just require us to maneuver that around. Anything beyond that, so if let's say the commission decided to, pull out an ad in a newspaper or wanted to pay for advertising, that would all need to have discussion made. And if it's not something that we can feasibly work into our current budget, then that would have to go back to council. So, if it's something that's on the same scale or smaller than the Health and Wellness Fair that's coming up, more than likely we'd be able to run that. And it wouldn't be overly burdensome on staff. If it's anything larger than that, that's potentially when more discussion would need to be had as to the feasibility. But I would definitely recommend that a motion is made to get some further direction too on that. But just, a yes or no as to whether or not it would happen would help a lot.
Yeah, we can kick off with a small one.
So if I could have someone make a motion so that we can just take a vote so we can see whether or not we should proceed at this point or table this for another time. Commissioner Herrera, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to proceed in entertaining this job fair and to be able to proceed with this job fair idea and at least just have a small, at least kickstart, like a small, it doesn't have to be that large. So I'll make a motion to proceed.
Thank you. Do you have a second? I'll second just because we have to have a second to vote. So I will second if that's allowed. I will second the motion. Okay. Adrian, if you would please take the vote.
Yes. Commissioner Borja?
No, not at this time.
Commissioner Branhag?
Nay.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
No, not at this time.
Commissioner Herrera?
Yes, absolutely.
Commissioner Khan?
Not at this time.
Vice Chair Goto?
No.
Chair Jennings Nunez?
Yes.
So the motion does not pass by a vote of 2 ayes, 5 nays, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you, everyone. So I know that was disappointing for us for everyone, because I think it's a good idea. But again, this isn't the end. It's kind of a put a pin in it, and we will hopefully be able to come back at it. All of these really great ideas, we just need to keep them on our radar. Now that we know that it's something that we want to do, we can begin planning for it, further in advance. So thank you for all of that discussion, and thank you for being honest so that we didn't get into the midst of planning something that really wasn't going to be feasible. Thank you. So with that, Matthew, do you have any other questions concerning those items for the 2022 annual work plan?
Not specifically those plans, but if the commission is open to it, I will bring back the action plan for the next commission meeting, which essentially is the work plan, but adds kind of who's tasked on which items. So if there's anyone who wanted to join Commissioner Khan on the, I believe it was mental health forum or the social services fair item, I think that will be a potentially a larger item and require work outside of the regular meeting and then reporting back, similar to the Native American Heritage Month video. Those would be items either that could be discussed now or at the next meeting as you're looking at the action plan. And let's see. But everything else for the most part carried over. So I will include the same commissioners as were on the previous action plan. And then if for some reason that needs to change at the next commission meeting, we can do that the commission can do that as well.
Thank you. So we also have Matthew just asked if you do have any additional speaker ideas or contacts to please pass that information on to him. And if you would like to be on the committee with Commissioner Khan, please let Matthew know before our next meeting also. Are there any other comments under this agenda item? Thank you. So we're going to move on to the land acknowledgement statement. So that's item C. The land acknowledgement statement advisory committee members and staff are going to provide an update on the progress toward the development of a citywide land acknowledgement statement. Matthew, do we have any public comments on this discussion item?
We do not.
Thank you. The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Commissioner Brenhag and I are on the land acknowledgement statement advisory committee. And so Commissioner Brenhag, would you like to make any comments on this item?
Sure, I can give a quick update. Chair Nunez and I went and met with Chief Morales, which is one of the, that's his name, right? Just wanted to...
Right. And I'm sorry, Chief Brenhag, Matthew, did you want to make any comments first? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you want to go first, Matthew?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Not a problem. And sorry, Commissioner Brenha. But so the update, kind of overall update, is that it is still a work in progress. It is taking a little longer than staff anticipated, but I think it will be well worth it in the end. The meeting has been had with Chief Morales, with Commissioner Brenha and Chair Jennings. Director Perez and Adrian were present at the meeting and engaging and taking notes and compiling all of that for the commissioners to make note of. The items that are specific to the land acknowledgement statement will be shared with the LAS committee during their next meeting, but it'll only be those specific items that were specific to help grow and develop that land acknowledgement statement. So I will turn it back over to Commissioner Brenha. My apologies.
Oh, it's okay. So the other meeting did not happen yet? Is that true? Okay.
Correct.
And so we do not have a scheduled time for our next land acknowledgement statement advisory committee meeting? Correct,
not at this time.
Okay. So that was, yeah, the update is we met with Chief Morales, and I felt like it was a great conversation, and he expressed that he does just, he kind of wants this to get done soon. And so I think we're just hoping that the scheduling can work out and we can come back together. And we clarified with him the names of the tribe and of local landmarks and possible ways that he was interested in the land acknowledgement statement being used, and also ways that we could partner with them going forward. So yeah, I'm just very grateful to be part of it.
Thank you, Commissioner Brenham. Thank you, Matthew. And I agree, it was a very productive meeting. So I'm looking forward to our other colleagues on the Historical Preservation Commission meeting with Chief Salas, and then for us to bring back more information after our next Land Acknowledgement Statement Committee Advisory Committee meeting, hopefully in sometime before our next HERE Commission meeting. Thank you. So we'll move on to commission reports. So this is the time when each commissioner may address the HERE Commission in public on matters of general information and/or concern. This is also the time for commissioners to report on conferences and/or meetings that they have attended. So I'll start with, I'll go backwards this time and with Commissioner Khan.
Yes, thank you, Chair Jennings. Next Saturday, I haven't attended any particular session or anything, but next Saturday marks our first day of fasting, and we'll continue to fast for the whole month, beginning with the dawn, with the sunrise and sundown. And our festival, or the biggest festival, will be on May 2nd, just to talk.
Commissioner Khan, can you tell us what this is celebrating, or what is the significance of this time period?
So Ramadan is one of those.
It's the Ramadan. It's Ramadan. Okay. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yes.
It varies with where you come from. In other words, with some parts of the world do not have a D, and some parts of the world has a Z. So you probably would hear from some people it's Ramadan, and some people it's Ramadan. So, but it's the same thing. So it's out of the 12 months, we have 1 month set aside for fasting. And the primary reason for the fasting is it's a tradition continuing from the Abrahamic faith, and it has evolved into what we do. So for 30 days we fast, beginning with the sun, before the sunrise, we have our breakfast. And after right before sunrise, we stop eating, and then we'll just continue fasting until the end of the day for 30 days every year. 38 days or 29 days, depending upon the moon. And so we don't eat and drink during the day. And and we spend a lot of time praying and a lot of charity. So it's encouraged for Muslims to sort of connect with God, I believe. I mean, that's probably the best way of describing it. And also to feel again, that I don't think that was the intent, but it definitely feels to be hungry, to feel how hunger feels. And but again, it's not like we're starving. It's just like we're intentionally fasting. So but the feeling would be a part of that, part of the experience also. And charity is encouraged, highly encouraged, and prayer during the month is encouraged. So if you pass by on Las Tunas Drive, you will probably see a lot of traffic early morning, like before the sunrise, and then after sunrise, we'll gather this year after a couple of years of break for sort of breaking the bread together with the families. And if anyone is interested, I would definitely like to invite on one of the days that we can gather there as a group and experience and have dinner together.
Thank you, Commissioner Khan. So please pass that information on to Matthew, and then he can distribute it to the rest of us. Thank you.
Certainly.
Commissioner Herrera.
Well, I had the luxury of meeting up with Matthew, Mr. Matthew Morales himself, and he provided me with a wonderful tour of the city and the bunch of the city buildings and the public works building briefly. And it's not only about saying stuff out here, right, and trying to get things done, but also putting our feet in the ground, right, and understanding who we're working for. For example, one of the things that I pushed for last year was something, the bias training, right? And I wanted to see firsthand of the people that I implemented this training on so they can hate me and show me, point at me and say, hey, that's the guy that did that, or love me, right? However you want to see it. But Matthew showed me around, and I got to understand, you know, with the city of San Gabriel, so wonderful city that we live in, you would to think that there's a huge team behind everything, but in reality, it's such a small team, small departments doing things. I got to see where Rebecca Allen's office is at. I got to see where Mark, our city manager's office is at. I think I heard him talking. I didn't want to interrupt him, but I got to meet some of the people that we're representing. And I think that's very important that we go out there and we're visual, you know, of course, you know, back then following the proper protocols, and now also whatever the protocols might be. I'm just looking forward to be in person and get the chance to interact with each and every one of you guys and girls in person. And it's a different vibe. It's a completely different vibe. You know, I see you here in your comfort zone in your house, and thank you for sharing all the videos. Maybe the viewers don't get to see what we're seeing here. Everybody's like in the office or in their house, in their rooms, but it's much different when you're in person. And I'm really looking forward to getting to see each and every one of you in person. So that's my report. Thank you, Matthew, so much for that brief tour. I really appreciate your time. And I put in a lot of steps that day, and you're my witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Herrera. Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
Yes. On the City Council meeting on March 1st, I attended, and one of their guest speakers was at Foothill Unity Center. And they're quite an interesting group of people. They cover the entire San Gabriel Valley. And they have a group of people that they house the homeless, they feed people that are homeless, they provide services for domestic violence, they provide medical services for people, they also provide educational training for people that want to find jobs, and they cover the entire San Gabriel Valley. And right now, what with COVID, they are covering San Gabriel. They cover Baldwin Park, Arcadia, and they're quite an interesting group of people. And I think it's something that when we go into our health and wellness fair, we need to include them in this. I have reached out and asked for trifold brochures. I have not received them. But I will continue to ask because I think it's something that would be good to be handing out. And like I say, they're quite a large organization, and I think it's something that we need to partner with. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fitzsimmons. Commissioner Borja?
I don't have anything to report, although I wanted to ask, if there are going to be commissioners attending the Health and Wellness Fair, are we going to have a table there?
So there will not be a specific table for the commission. I would welcome you to take a walk around and visit all of the booths. We will have a city information booth. So my assumption is that not all of the commissioners would be spending the entire day there, but rather more periodically. So if you wanted to spend some time at the city information booth, that also might be a good opportunity for residents or people attending the health fair to get to know you, as well as you get to share some information on the Care Commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Borja.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brenha?
Yeah, just one thing real quick. This week is World Doula Week. I'm a birth doula. I don't know if you guys know about doulas in general, but it's a profession of people who kind of come alongside other people and help journey with them. There are birth doulas, there are death doulas, there are postpartum doulas. And I'm a birth doula. I don't know if you know some stats, but 1 in 3 birthing people experience birth trauma, whether it be physical or emotional. I'm included in that 1 of 3. The United States has one of the highest maternal mortality rates of developing countries and a pretty wide gap in racial equity when it comes to obstetric care. So birth doulas work one-on-one with people to help facilitate the kind of relationship and environment that reduces birth trauma or helps them to have the kind of experience that they want. Postpartum doulas help new parents feel they have the support and resources necessary to thrive. And LAist and KPCC recently did an article and a story on doulas and doulas in LA. And so you could, look into that if you're interested, or I'm always open to talking about it.
Thank you, Commissioner Brennan. Vice Chair Goto?
Yes, thank you. I attended the Southern California Grantmakers panel discussion on addressing the urgency of youth mental health, which included speakers representing public and private funders, as well as service providers. And they also had a community college student who had served as an LAUSD youth advisor when she was in high school. And some of the statistics that they shared were 1 in 6 high school students in California considered suicide in the last year. And for middle and high school students aged 12 to 18, suicide is the second leading cause of death. Another point they made was that only 48% of the high school students reported feeling connected to their school. And of course, this was during the pandemic, but that connectedness is really what we're about. So some of the takeaways from that meeting were that there's funding available to address youth mental health, that it's important to incorporate youth student voices and to reach students what they called beyond the couch. So meaning that assistance must be expanded beyond just a traditional therapy. They discussed taking healing into the community with programs that are less traditional. Things that they mentioned were mindfulness, a gardening program, and a boxing program. And then some of the challenges for the service providers included capacity building at all levels and the need for more flexibility with funders to provide operational support, and determining what metrics can be used to measure success. When prevention and social connectedness is the goal, like how do you measure what you've done? So they discussed the need to provide full-time grant writing services for communities that don't have the resources to manage complicated federal grants and to ensure that there's equity. So the full recording of the meeting is available on the Southern California Grantmakers YouTube channel, and they followed up with a number of links with resources and some reports that I can forward to Matthew to share with you. I think there's probably some really good resources for us in designing our mental health fair and forum. So I'll make sure to send those to Matthew to share with all of you. And then just finally, to honor Women Histories Month, the Women's March Foundation is hosting a book read of Bell Hooks' Feminism is for Everyone. And if you're not familiar, Bell Hooks was a groundbreaking Black feminist thinker, writer, and activist who passed away last year. And the book read grand finale is on April 5th, so you still have time it's not too long. And you can go to www.mobilize.us/Women's March to sign up, and they'll give you a discussion guide and links to more information about bell hooks. And there's even a downloadable PDF of the book if people, can't purchase one. So you can find out more about bell hooks work and legacy. And I hope people will look into it. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Vice Chair Goto. So Vice Chair Goto is kind enough to let me announce one of our endeavors together. So this afternoon, actually, Vice Chair Goto and I were invited to participate in a discussion with City Council member Janice Menchaca and our Mayor Toby Ding and staff members of Supervisor Hilda Solis. And so the LA County Board of Supervisors created a Blue Ribbon Commission on Homelessness to evaluate the current governance system of kind of homelessness services administration, and that's through LAHSA, the LA Homeless Services Authority, if you haven't heard of that. So we were able to participate in this discussion to review the recommendations that are coming from this Blue Ribbon Commission on homelessness and that are going to be presented to the City Council probably at the beginning of April and provide some input. So that was a really good discussion and we will bring you back more information on that. So thank you, Vice Chair Goto, for participating in that with me. The other thing is, as Commissioner Borja mentioned, hopefully you saw that email from Matthew. I think it was on March 9th that I managed to get our names attached to the health fair that is coming up on March 27th. And so that's why Commissioner Borja asked about a booth there and us participating. So if you are available, it's going to be from 10 to 2. It is a health fair that's being sponsored by USC's School of Pharmacy. But we also managed to kind of get in a couple of booths that are going to be related to mental health from resources that we've curated from before. So 211 is going to be there. Commissioner Fitzsimmons, we actually have reached out to Foothill Unity Center. I was there at that meeting on May 1st also, or listened in. I think we're waiting for a response, but hopefully they will be there. And then the Chinatown Service Center, I think we reached out to them also, and they will be a part of the health fair, so bringing their information on mental health services. So all those great resources that you all bring speakers to the meeting, we are trying to incorporate them later on in city events. So, we really appreciate that, or I really appreciate learning more about organizations in the area. So March 27th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., come out, get your health screening, blood pressure screening, osteoporosis, body fat analysis. I don't think I want to do that one, but they're going to offer that one too, and some other really good information. So just come out. Commissioner Herrera, I think this would be an event that you would love to participate in. We're going to find a name tag for all of us to identify us as here commissioners and come out and meet some of our residents. And then the last thing that I was involved in last week, I spent most of last week in Durham, North Carolina, on the Duke campus, which was really beautiful, attending a leadership institute that was sponsored by my OBGYN professional organization. So hopefully learning how to be a better leader and to implement some of those items in my career life, maybe in my community life, in my home life. But that was a really great experience, lots of networking, lots and lots of information that I'm still trying to process, but it was a really incredible experience. So that is all for me. We'll move on now to staff comments. So these are the staff members. We'll have an opportunity now to address the commission and public on matters of general information and or concern.
Excellent, thank you. So thank you, Chair Jennings and the rest of the commission for your support with the Health and Wellness Fair. We're really hoping that it's a successful day and draws out a large number of people to take advantage of all of the resources, knowledge, and screenings that are available. We're really hoping it's a great event. If all goes well, then we're also hoping that USC returns again next year, and we have a new set of students to work alongside with us to make it happen. On a separate note, well, actually, before I move on, some of the people that we do have confirmed joining us are 211 LA County, California Phones, Foothill Family, which is different than the Foothill Unity, LA Metro, National Asian Pacific Center on Aging, New York Life, Optum, and WellCare. So as you can see, we have a mix of some for-profit organizations that have other resources such as like Medicare information, and then some nonprofit resources that kind of run the gamut of resources to the public, and then some that are a little bit more specialized, such as aging services. So that's where we're at there. And then the youth programs, we have some amazing staff in the community services office. So some shout outs there, Christina Alatorre and Amy Cortez in our office, a recreation supervisor and recreation coordinator respectively, have really elevated our after school program and taking the lead from the HERE Commission of integrating some educational aspects that are still fun to the youth, and specific to months. So similar to how the HERE Commission is focusing on Native American Month, Native American Heritage Month, and Black History Month, the after school program is having some activities that fall in alignment with that. So for example, the after school program had a Lunar New Year art competition, and the community services staff selected their top art pieces per age category, and the winners were showcased on our department webpage. In honor of Black History Month, the staff have included a variety of themed activities. At Washington and Wilson Elementary Schools, they offered I Have a Dream art activity based off of Dr. Martin Luther King that incorporates each participant's dreams for the future. Coolidge Elementary shared inspirational quotes made by important people in history, and McKinley Elementary implemented chalk art showcasing unity, important figures, and significance of celebrating Black history. So you can see, we try not to keep it surface level and really allow the kids to be engaged and use their critical thinking skills. So that way it's not just color in the famous figure. It's, really allowing them to dig a bit deeper and get a deeper understanding and have the conversation with each other as well. At Jefferson Middle School, it's a sports program that we offer there. We incorporated adding Black history into the sports program curriculum by showcasing iconic sports figures and their contributions to their communities. So even in the sports program, staff are really doing their best to make sure that conversation continues and make sure that it's a comfortable conversation to have. So a lot of times when you bring in these conversations that are typically either more controversial or uncomfortable for people, making it a comfortable environment allows the conversation to happen a lot smoother. And especially starting at this age where potentially their minds are a little bit more open to accepting the different points of views is a great opportunity. With that said, we're planning all of our summer events, and we'll keep all of the HERE Commission ideas and thoughts in mind. So if there's anything in specific that you feel should be changed or added on to help incorporate all areas of the community, we welcome all of those ideas to help make our events more successful, because most of our events will be continuing in some level, either normal or the same service that we were providing prior to the pandemic. So just as a notation there.
Thank you, Matthew. And Mark or Adrian or Rebecca? Great.
Sorry,
So,
I'm sorry. I would like to also thank Adrian for all of her hard work. We threw her into the commission as the clerk amongst her variety of other duties, and I think she's been doing a phenomenal job.
yes, thank you. I have shared with Matthew that I certainly think that we have the best city staff members assigned to the HERE Commission, and we really appreciate all of your hard work. And I just want to say that I'm incredibly proud of us. I think we're all really proud that these conversations are being had throughout the city, that we are highlighting diversity and inclusion, and even just having these, the fact that these things are being thought about and considered in just really a year or two time says a huge amount about what people are open to and what they are supporting. And so I'm really proud of this commission and proud of the city of San Gabriel for all that we've accomplished.
And also say something about our chair.
No, it said something about the commission, but thank you. I'll take that. I'll take
The
those where.
discipline and the push, I like that.
Thank you.
Exploring new ideas.
I appreciate that. So with those positive words, we are going to adjourn the meeting. So the next regular HERE Commission meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 26th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Information regarding matters to be considered at each meeting will be available on Friday before the HERE Commission meeting on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com. Right before I adjourn, I guess for now, we are still remaining virtual, Matthew?
So we will have a further update in the upcoming week or two that we will disseminate to the commission as far as the location. We are working out some, as far as the technical side, the commission could choose to meet in person whenever the commission as a whole is comfortable and ready. But as far as being back in the city council chambers and running it as, you know, completely broadcast, those technical issues are things that we'll need to still verify.
Thank you. So more information to come. So this regular meeting is now adjourned at 8:25 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.